Good morning and welcome to Limitless, the show that brings you love and inspiration on a Saturday morning. And today we have an amazing guest on the show. Her name is Bose Agbesanwa, and she is an educational consultant, international speaker, and author with over 30 years' experience. Her primary objective is to cultivate self control and responsible behavior in children, enabling them to thrive in the global world. She established RCCI, an organization dedicated to supporting and enhancing the lives of underprivileged and vulnerable children, guided by the ethos of every child is a champion. So unleash their unstoppable potential. Her work concentrates on instilling attributes that reflect the attitudes and mindset necessary for building a positive and successful society. So, without further ado, it is my pleasure to invite my guests on the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good morning, Maria, and thank you for having me on your show this morning. I
Thank
really appreciate this, and it's long overdue because we've been trying to catch up.
you.
So,
Most definitely,
yeah,
yes, yes,
pleasure.
yes. But
Yeah.
the pleasure is all mine. I'm so glad that you're here, and I just feel that this conversation that we're having, that we're going to have today, is going to be so poignant and important for somebody out there who really does need to hear it. Now, of course, you've done a lot of work with young people, and you're just a true champion out there for the community, just really helping to not just the children, but we also know that from the children there are also the families that need support as well. What is it that inspired you to get into this kind of humanitarian work and just supporting the community? What's your drive?
Okay. I will say that it all started from my upbringing.
Yes.
I grew up in a family where both my late parents are very supportive of people. And at any point in time in my home, you will have about 20, 30 people
Mm,
around us. And they were very active in their community and
yes,
in church as well. So
yes.
I grew up like that and seeing that and looking at this is a good legacy to leave because
Mm,
we're all on this earth for something. We're not just passing through. We must leave something. And
yes.
as I'm getting older, I just felt I need to do this. And also moving to England from Nigeria
Mm,
in 1989 and looking around me, I felt, you know what? You need to support people. We need to learn from each other. We need to make sure that our children are really equipped for the future. So I
yes.
think that is what really, like pushed me. And my husband is a church minister as well. He's
Mhm,
a reverend at the Custom House Baptist Church in
yes.
Newham. So yeah.
It's I can see the patterns. Obviously your parents have really instilled in you this work for community, the servitude and the this servant leadership sort of mindset. It's no wonder you did fight, you found yourself marrying a minister and also working within the community and all of these sorts of things. Could you tell us about your path towards salvation for yourself? Because obviously you grew up in a family where everyone's Christian, and they give you this wonderful foundation, but how did you come to that supernatural path yourself?
Okay. Like I said earlier on, I grew up in a very strong Christian family. We
Mm,
will wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning to have morning devotion. You will have to read your Bible. You will lead the Bible, like the morning devotion. And then
yes.
the evening will do exactly the same thing. I went to a Baptist secondary school because we're Baptist. So it's like everything is building up to that. So by the time I got to secondary school, I had a very good understanding and with the faith, because like as a young child, they will take us to convention. You have to be able to learn by heart about 50 scriptures, and you have to stand in front of the congregation. You have to say all that, and You get prizes. We'll do a lot of Bible reading. We do like from Sunbeam to GA. So it's something that's been building up. And I grew up to know that with God, all things are possible.
Yes.
So that is what sort of made me to feel that, I just have to stay on this lane. It's not that I have not, like we all do as a young person while in uni, you will party, you will do this, but I still have that foundation that there is nothing that will take me away from my faith. So I think that is where I built everything on. And I found out that God has been keeping me up until now. And luckily, my husband was not really into being a reverend from start. We went to the same uni together. I met him at uni and we started going out when I was about 17,
Mm.
and we stayed, but he has that faith as well. So by the time we got to England in 19, he came in 1998, I guess, if I can remember, but I joined him 1989. And, like starting a new life here, leaving everything behind and
Mhm.
like starting all over again. So
Yes.
that sort of really made, like made us to feel that, what, it is only God. And
Mm.
honestly, that is what really built my faith up because I'm here with nothing. I'm starting all over again. And I believe that I need to find my way, and it is only God that can help me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. It's one of those things like when you mentioned, of course, he wasn't a minister when you met him, but you carried an atmosphere. This is the atmosphere that both of you had as Christians. We bring our atmosphere wherever we go. And isn't it sad that the world that we're living in, i.e., this country and the environment, with all the sufferings and family breakups and you know uh, the Christian faith, that staunch Christian teaching, has been watered down so much, almost to the extent that if you came with this true sort of thirst and hunger for God, you're seen as an extremist. You're seen as, you know what I'm saying? We're not harming anybody. We're not suicide bombing. We're not terrorizing, but we're seen as an extremist to the extent that it might be dangerous for the community. You know, it's a fortunate thing for you. I think it was a real blessing that your family was able to give you that foundation, and for him as well, to the extent that you train up the child the way they go. And what else would they do? But they would do what they see their father doing. And then to want to give that back or help in any way so that other people who haven't had the privilege, especially the young people, because they're the ones that suffer, who haven't had the privilege to really receive from what God has for them, to understand, to have a mind shaped in the right way, to just give as much as you can. Now, you've written a very interesting book that I want to talk about, and and then obviously that's to do with raising children. Can you tell us a little bit about your background in that? And then, of course, I'll put it on the screen as well.
Yes, it's called Raising Champion Children, an essential guide to helping children thrive in the 21st century.
Hmm.
And like we have been discussing that children need a good adult to support them and to help them thrive
Mm,
in this world that we're in at the moment. And it's not just only about faith. You need the faith as well, but
mm,
you need someone that will really see what your potentials are, your talents are, and they will help you to build on it. And
mm,
this journey of my book started because I retired as a teacher last year when I turned 60.
mhm,
So I have been teaching in this country since 1996
mhm.
and teaching all over, and especially in deprived boroughs. I
Yes.
found out that children can really do well, but all they need is they need someone to help them.
Yes.
So we live in Newham, and my husband pastors a church in Newham. When
Yes.
the girls were growing up,
Mm.
we both sat down and said to ourselves, we pastor a local church. If we take our children into a fee-paying school, can church members afford that? Okay, so what do we do? So, and already I've started teaching. So we decided to make sure that the children schooled in Newham.
Yes.
So I have two girls. So they went to primary school in Newham, and they went to one of the worst secondary schools in Newham. That
Mm.
is Royal Ducks, right? But we actually invested in tutoring. So we got them lots of teachers. I sat down, looked at everything that a child will get from a fee paying school. They
Mm-hmm.
were doing their swimming, they were doing their keyboard lessons. They actually did the Royal School of Music exams up until I think stage 3 before they actually stopped. I was taking them for etiquette sessions, just building them up. And then we're always traveling. Every year we'll go to America, they go to camp in America. So building everything in ourselves. And then I started encouraging parents from the church as well. You don't need to run around if you don't have the money. You don't need to move out of the area to buy a house, maybe because you're looking for grammar school. Stay where you are, but invest in the children. And
Mm.
that's why I actually ended up writing the book, because I just felt that its foundation, and that helped us, because to the glory of God is not my own power or my husband, but to the glory of God. The two girls, they started off in Newham and went to uni. And at the end of the day, one is a solicitor, the other one is a doctor. They lived all
Yes.
their life in Newham, but it's all the support that we gave them. So that's
Yes.
one of the reasons why I decided that I'm going to write this book and encourage parents, new moms and dads as well, like the young family, that stay
Yes.
where you are, don't run around, invest in your children, support them, see what
Mm.
they're good at, and look at how you can help them to thrive. So I have
Mm.
lots of different things. I stressed on empathy as well, because I
Yes.
believe if you bring a child up from a very young age with empathy, they will be sensitive to
Mm.
other people around them. And I
Yes.
do this as well. I talk about this as well when I go to schools, when I have events with children, because all these killings and things, if there's empathy being taught at a very young age, I
Yeah.
don't think there will be any knife, like killings and everything. And to really um, back that up, I actually made sure that my children went to um, work at homeless shelters 2 years. We would wake up in the morning at about 6 a.m. I will
Mm-hmm.
go there with them. They will help serve, they will help cook. And I keep telling them, you're not better than these people. God has only given you the opportunity to be where you are. If you
Mm.
listen to them and hear their story as well, they're coming from somewhere, but
Mm.
unfortunately, they are quite unfortunate to be where they are. And I
Mm.
give God the glory, because my older daughter, which today is her birthday as well, she's taking up all that we taught them, even as like Christian as well, because as a growing up, we're doing exactly the same thing in church, taking them to be part of the choir, making sure that they're organizing events for children. We call it VBS, that is Vacation Bible Study. I
Mm.
make sure that they're part of all this. And
Mm.
today they're really, really, really into their faith as well. So I give God the glory for that. And that's
Mm.
one of the reasons why I wrote the book. Yeah.
What do you want? I mean, once again, it's really echoing again, imbibing the same sort of training. The same. It's not just the training; it's the atmosphere. It's the fact that they've carried this with them in the midst of an environment that seems hopeless, in the midst of an environment that seems like no one's going to come out on top. It's always going to be, born into the bottom state. But in reality, it's not about where you are; it's who's with you.
Mhm.
It's which canopy are you underneath? Are you being directed by the principalities in the area that everybody else is oppressed by, and everyone else, and it shows in the families and the addictions and in the misfortunes, but you carry your atmosphere there with you and you will thrive. So within the book, what is it that we would expect, when we read it? What should we expect? And when people go out and buy it, what's the core message within that? Is it what, in your words, what do you want people to receive from that?
What I want people to receive from this is it's like a guide. For example, we have um, one of the sections is about resilience,
Mm, mm,
So, and it's quite important that we as parents, we teach children or adults or carers that you're with children, you teach them resilience from a very young age as well. Because
mm,
we live in a very tough world right now. And with all that they see on social media and what is going on with their phones, with all the celebrities, if things are not going on for them, you find out that they break down. We have a very high percentage of mental health issues with
yes.
children now because I teach. I can tell you that waiting time for CAMS, which is the one that deals with young people, is about 2 or 3 years, you know? So, and what can you do? So, I believe that charity starts from home.
Yes.
I always tell parents that you need to find time. And that's one of the topics that you'll find in the book as well. We're the role models. You need to find time, dialogue with your children, have a communication with them. It's
Yes.
not that they're upstairs, you're downstairs, and you're texting. So, no, have a time that you put the phones to the side. Know what is going on in their life. Know who their friends are. Who
Mm,
know like the parents of their friends. You need to know them.
mm,
Sometimes my daughters, they used to say that I'm very nosy. And I'll say to them, I'm nosy for a good thing because at the end of the day, I need to know the people that they're really around
yeah.
because if you don't know that, they said birds of the same feathers, they flock together. If I don't know that they're flocking with the right birds, so what do I do? So I think for me, my main message and why I would encourage people to buy the book is it's like a guide.
Mm,
Like some of us don't even know where to start from. Like I said initially, that it doesn't matter where you live. You can
mm,
live in the worst borough.
mm,
That doesn't mean that your children are not going to excel. They
mhm,
will excel, but it's what you put in. And it's so funny that my daughter, for the last 1 year, she's just moved from Newham, and she met someone that really knows and said, let me see, we need to get you to come and talk to young children. And we also need to get you on TV because you grew up in Newham. You're now a doctor in Newham, and you're back working in Newham General Hospital. You see? And
mm,
and the lady said to her that you're so inspiring, to that it's a big inspiration that because when you look at it in a borough and she didn't go to any fee paying school. Every
mm,
every education, especially the primary and the secondary, was within the borough.
yes.
So, and that is one of the message, that I'm trying to pass on to people that it doesn't matter where you're raising your children.
Mm. From your experience, obviously, you've had a lot of experience in the education system, having schooled partially in Africa, then come over here and continue your education here. becoming a teacher within a school system over here. And then, of course, being there for over, many, many years with 30 years experience. And then, of course, now writing this book and being invited to talk to parents as well as young people. What would you say from all that you've seen is the issues that young people are facing today? Now, I know families are breaking up. There's loads of complexities and economical reasons why. But what are the real issues that are facing young people and all young people have to struggle with in this day and age?
The first thing that I will say is honestly social media.
Mm,
Social media, because they look at, like when they say everything, you see, like they look at the social media, they see all celebrities, they think that everything is glittery out there. And unfortunately, some of these children are from a different culture. So there's a very big cultural difference as well. And I'll
yes.
just quickly give you an example. When I first started teaching in Newham, I found out that when a child from Africa, the way we grew up in Africa, that when an adult is talking, you can't look at them straight in that you have to put
Yes.
your head down.
Yes.
And unfortunately, in this country, if you're talking to an adult or your teacher and you're looking down, that
Mm,
is a sign of being guilty.
yes.
And the children take that, they're not guilty. But what happens? They take it in a negative way. They will start reacting, and then the stereotype comes.
Mm,
So, and that is the problem that we have. And also because, like you've said as well, there's a lot of dysfunctional families. But at the end of the day, I still believe in something, that we need that community support.
mm-hmm,
It needs that community support. And
mm,
that is what we try to do in our church. We
mm,
have lots of events for children.
mm,
We recommend places where they can take their children for scholarship. There is Ray Lewis that does the East Side Academy for
mm,
especially Black boys and Black girls now. So
mm,
I encourage parents, go there, see how they can help you. I say to them, you know what? Be part of a faith group. If you're Muslim, be part of your community and see how that can help you, because you cannot. It, I still hold on to that adage from Nigeria that it takes a forest. I'm sorry, it takes a village to raise a child. You can't do it alone. Like when I was raising my girls as well, if I'm stuck with them and they're not listening, I'll just pick the phone and say, Auntie A, can you please speak with Yemisi, or can you speak with Ayo, and we'll resolve issues and they come back. Or I'll say, Dad, speak with them. So I think all that we can do is, the young people are not really getting people to tell them that life is not a bed of roses. You will have challenges, but how do you manage the issues that you have? Because for them, they just think, oh, we can behave anyhow. We can, it's my right. Because like yesterday, I was on the bus and a girl came in and they were saying to her that she needs to pay. And she said, I'm just going down the road. I'm not going to pay. Can you imagine?
mm. Wow.
Yeah. So I think that there is a lot that we need to teach the children from a very young age. And I think that is what it is. Because all they're looking at is, and also they've had some, I always say to my children, don't come home and talk to me about racism. I always say that to them. I said, you need to rise above it. Even though we all know we all have prejudice one way or the other, but don't come back and sit on that and start talking on that and capitalize on that. How can you rise above it to get to where you're going? And I think that's the other issue that, especially African Black children, that they have in this country, because everything is, oh, it's because I'm Black, or it's because I'm Africano is because, well, I don't think so. We know that there's prejudice, but let's look beyond that and focus on where we're going. And that's why sometimes they always think that Nigerians were aggressive. We're not aggressive, we're just focused. We know where we're going, and with God on our side, we just want to get there.
Yeah.
Even when we see all the obstacles, we find a way around the obstacles. And I think that's the problem with the young generation. That's the problem they have at the moment. You know, that there's not that good leadership and direction, like giving them that, people telling them, what, this can be achieved, if you do it this way. And that's why I wrote the book and said every young person, every child needs a champion adult to help them to thrive in this global world.
Wonderful. Now you've got your company, the RCCI organization. Now,
Yeah.
what kind of events do you have? And I know it talks about in your write-up. You mentioned that it's your main aim really is to empower families and to focus on providing assistance to children. Can you tell us some of the things that you've been doing and how it's been benefiting the community, please?
Okay. I will start from my teaching profession. At a time when, I think that's in the late 90s,
Mhm.
I was supporting lots of refugees coming into Newham. So I got a post as English as a second language manager. So at that time, we really organized lots of activities for them, how
Mhm.
they can settle, get their parents to learn English, like get their parents to learn ICT as well, how they can use computer. And
Yes.
also, we at that time we had lots of children coming in from Kosovo, and they had the effect of war. So we had to really organize like a therapy for them so that they have extra um, activities after school where
Yes.
they can really get all this out of them. So I really did that for quite a while before I moved into another area.
Yes.
And in terms of the church, so I'm just going to make it, like touch on quickly on everything because of time. In terms of the church and the community where we're based in, we do a lot of activities with both elderly, vulnerable, and young children. So, for example, now every April we will do Easter egg hunt, which we throw open to all people in the area. We don't say that because you're not a Christian, you can't come. And on the 31st, just about a week ago, we had the light party. Instead of Halloween, we would always do a light party. And when they come into church, it's always done in church. We'll explain to them that we're not celebrating Halloween, but we're celebrating the light of Christ to shine in the community. We feed them, we do everything, we give them sweets and everything. And it's always um well attended, because this last one we had over 66 children and their parents, and by the time they were leaving, they started asking us, when are you going to have the same for Christmas? Are you doing something for Christmas? Are you going to do this again? But we try as much as possible to bring Christ into it as well. Then that's what we do for children. Then we do Christmas play, just to make the community have an understanding that Christmas is not about shopping, it's not about Christmas dinner, it's about the birth of Jesus Christ. And we do, in the community, I run um, tea parties for
Mm-hmm.
elderly as well within the community. So we will have it 3 times in a year. Easter, we'll have maybe like the winter one, and then we'll have the Christmas one, where we'll just send invitations out within the community. And we do it exactly like a proper tea party. And we
Mm-hmm.
found out that it's been very, very well attended. They're always so happy to come with their children. Also, every Christmas we give out vouchers, almost about 100, about 25 pounds as the
Mm,
vouchers we give to charities within the community. We give to individuals. We go to schools and tell schools that, do you have children that you think they're going to struggle over Christmas? So we do all that within the community just to make sure that people know that we're not just Christians in our little church, but we're reaching out to the community. And we run events like career events for young adults as well, so that they can have career talks. We've had, because I'm part of Rotary Club as well, so we do events as well within the community. We've had events of on drop your knife, stop the killing. We've had things like that as well within the Rotary Club. And then I now extend my charity to Nigeria. And
mm-hmm,
in Nigeria, we help orphanages. So we support them by giving them food, by helping some of the children. Like one of the orphanages now, there's a blind boy there. We're going to educate the blind boy from primary school at the Pacheli school until wherever he wants to stop. There's some
mm-hmm,
children that we have placed in primary schools from the orphanages as well. Every year we run a vocational training for almost 100 children, so
yes.
that if they don't want to go to school or their parents cannot afford to send them to school, they can then go out and know they have a skills that would help them to really thrive in the community and in their different lives as well. So that's what we do. We do a lot of that as well. So um one of the things that I'm trying to do at the moment is I'm trying to set up my own vocational training school, because we work in really deprived areas in Lagos. So, and I work in Ife as well, where I grew up. So, so that's what I do.
So I mean, you do so much. Obviously, it's all linked with your charity and with the church, and of course, this is that it's one of the things that your children would have seen and of course imbibe. Have your children picked up on this nature of being busy and working in the community and working for people? Are they doing that sort of thing as well?
At the moment, they're supporting me with what I'm doing, and
Mm,
my older daughter, she's quite active in her church as well, and
yes.
she runs all the different events as well. But they're actually supporting me on what I'm doing at the moment. And
Mm,
my daughter, the doctor, she's looking into next year. We're going to go back to Nigeria together and run, like health check for young children, because we did that in 2018 when I
yes.
actually launched the organization. We did dental awareness, and
Mm,
it was so, I'm telling you, it was so amazing and surprising as well when
yes.
you had adults that have never been to dentist before. I was shocked.
Yes.
They've never
Wow.
They've never, and this was in Oshodi, like
Yes.
the Oshodi part of Lagos.
Hmm.
And we were only like doing the dental check for children. And we had a long queue for adults. We had to cut it short at a particular point. And that really sort of, opened my eyes to what you can do to support where I grew up as well. And we did a lot during COVID. I forgot to say that as well, because we were feeding people during COVID every Saturdays. At least we're doing 200 people.
Wow, I mean, it's phenomenal. The amount of work that needs to be. I mean, I'm catching on to what you said about Africa. The amount of support that needs to be given to children in Africa, in West Africa, where there's so much wealth, so much natural resources, so much oil, so much ability to be able to live in wealth. Everybody, but yet. We find that people don't even have access to good dental care, just the basics, and just so much work is needed there just to make sure that these people are living a life that gives them dignity and some kind of sense of hope, and it's so sad. But thank God for you. Thank God for all that you're doing in the community. We've sadly run out of time now,
I
but
know.
it goes so quickly. But could you tell us where people can get hold of your book, Raising Champion Children? Where is it available?
You can order on Amazon, and also you can link up with me on LinkedIn. You can link up with me on Facebook. And we have a website as well, which is raisingchampionchildren.org. And I have email that you can always send a message as well, which is magbesanwa@yahoo.co.uk. And I'm always willing to answer questions or have a chat with people. So, but
You
you can
do
always.
you do some vlogs as well, don't you? Some live recordings and
Oh, yes, I do. Thank you, Maria, for reminding me. Also on LinkedIn, you can check us out there. I do blog every week. At the moment, we're talking about child abuse, signs, symptoms, how we can help, how we need to make sure that people out there know what is going on. We don't sweep child abuse under the carpet again, because that
yes.
is why we have a lot of damaged young people as well,
Mm,
because they're carrying this baggage and nobody to talk to. So we
mm.
do have blogs every week. So you can always check us out online on LinkedIn, and pass comments as well. We always look forward to hearing from people. We're more than happy to partner with people, and also donations welcomed as well for our work, especially in Nigeria.
Praise God. Praise God. Thank you very much for being on the show and just to, tell us what you've been up to and taking the time out to talk to us. Obviously, it's taken a long time to get you on this show. And I'm so grateful that you've made it today, and it just really inspired so many people. When you do so much for the community, you're sowing a seed as well, where others can become champions as well. They can rise up and they can realize that they also can play their part as well. So thank you so very much for being steadfast for 30 years and more, supporting the community and just doing your best to just make sure that we're living in a wholesome, enriched environment.
Thank you so much, Maria, for having me on this morning. And I hope that we can still catch up on other things as well. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thank you so much. And until the next time, everybody, this is goodbye for me. And of course, goodbye for my guest as well. Keep on living under the canopy of the Holy Spirit. Bye.
Bye.